let's record. There you go. Hang on, you need to unmute, honey. There you go.
Okay. Okay. Hi, hello everybody. Thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate it so much. I'm just going to tell you my story. I'm Tracey. I'm 47 years old. I've got a beautiful partner, Darren, and 3 lovely children. Okay, and I run a very busy cleaning company. Before LifeVantage came along, I had really bad depression and anxiety and stress, and just dealing with that for over 20 years. You know, it was really, really stressful, really hard. I didn't want to take antidepressants, so I found myself in the gym 6 days a week, trying to get my happy, my happiness back. So then a friend of mine came up to me about a year ago and decided to, he brought over a bottle and he said, Trace, you got to take this. You got to take this Protandim. And I said, what is it? He said, look, it's got 5 herbs and it reduces oxidative stress and, you know, increases your energy, switches on your good genes, switches off your bad genes. And I said, well, look, I'll give it a go. So I ended up taking it and woke up one morning after a couple of weeks. I couldn't believe how good I felt. I felt the depression gone, the anxiety had lifted, the stress had gone. I felt really happy, really calm, and I just felt, I haven't felt this way for over 20 years. So I thought, well, look, I'm having such great results on this. You know, where do I get some more? And so I ended up buying a pack, and I needed to get all my friends and family onto it. So my mum tried it, my sister tried it, all my friends tried it. They all got great results. And I thought, wow, this is magnificent. So that's why I wanted to become a LifeVantage distributor and tell the whole world about it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love just hearing your story then. Could we maybe have Heidi to come on for a couple of minutes, Heidi, because you were the beautiful woman that introduced Tracey, wasn't it?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm Heidi, and I've known Tracey. She lived in the same street as me. We used to go to the gym together, and yeah, and we really didn't know each other for a while. We used to go to the gym, and then we became quite good friends. And she, came along and listened to the presentation, and went, "Yep, I'm in." And we haven't looked back, and it's done wonderful things for a lot of the people we know and that we care about. And yeah, so we became distributors together, and now we're on this journey in life, helping, supporting others, and having great results. So wonderful thing that we've done.
Fab, thank you. So hi everyone, my name is G Fletcher. My original name is Grania Fletcher, but I go by the name of G because I live in Australia, and when you see Grania written, it's like crazy. I used to live down in Sydney, and I moved up to the Sunshine Coast nearly 16 years ago. And I'd always been a traditional business owner. I owned a recruitment agency, and then my husband has a denture clinic. So that's what I was doing. And I came across Protandim nearly it's just over 4 years ago. And I had never heard of oxidative stress. I'm going to talk a couple of words tonight that maybe you didn't ever know. And I hadn't known about this, but I got really excited because I looked at the science and I thought, wow, if this is as good as what it's saying, this could maybe potentially change the health world as we know about it. And I rang a couple of girlfriends and I said, hey, do you want to come on a journey with me? A bit like the way that Heidi just said then. I said, do you want to come on a journey with me? Because I think that we could really impact some people's lives here just by going out and sharing this, because the science is there and it's all natural. It's just that nobody knows about it. The company's been around forever. And that's what we did nearly, as I say, over 4 years ago. And now we've got over 10,000 customers. And my team spans across 16 different countries just because we went out sharing it. So I'm really, really fortunate that this has happened. But my first and foremost thing is that I'm really excited about seeing people's lives change. My family's life has changed hugely with these products. So I'm just going to do a small PowerPoint presentation for you, and then there'll be any questions anyone wants to ask at the end. You can ask them. So that's me. And this just goes on about disclaimers about we can't cure, treat, or cure. I mean, you heard Tracey's story. Normally, because we're in an enclosed and it's just her friends, she feels safe to be able to have these conversations, but you wouldn't really hear us up on stage. We can't really talk like this, but that's the good thing about having these private enclosed groups. We're able to maybe share a bit more of our personal stories. So I just want to take you back to where it all began, because a lot of people say to me, so what is LifeVantage, and how did they even come up with a product like this? So to give you a little bit of a background, LifeVantage began in a lab with one single question: is declining health something we have to simply accept as part of getting older? Now, to kind of give you an idea of who they were, this was a small biotech company, and Dr. Joe McCord was one of the scientists that was there trying to discover and work out with these different herbs how they could maybe turn on some of our pathways in our genes. And why he was so fascinated is because in the 1960s, Dr. Joe McCord won an Elliott Crescent Award from the Franklin Institute. Now, us in Australia don't really know that much about this, but it's a very prestigious award that had been giving out to a lot of scientists that discover things. For instance, the Graham Bell, Henry Ford, the Wright brothers. So, you know, he's in good company. So Dr. Joe McCord won this award for superoxide dismutase, which is an antioxidant that he discovered. So he was trying to work out, how can we tap into this in our bodies? I know there's antioxidants in there. How can we tap into this? So what they discovered is our genes contain incredible abilities to keep our bodies healthy. So this was called nutrigenomics, which is nutrition for your genes. So it's the compounds which enables your body to switch on over 300 survival genes, which helps your good DNA to turn on and turn down your bad DNA. And that's what they discovered by activating certain proteins in your cells that are there. They're just dormant. So our company was formed in 2003 because of all these discoveries. And they continued doing research and continued expanding their mindset and understanding this activation. So a little bit about the company. It started off as retail products in 2003. They were on GNC stores. GNC is a bit like our health food stores, Flannery's and things like that. But what the problem was, and I'll get you a bottle of a tandem, nobody really knew, when you see this bottle, the power that was in these products. Nobody knew what oxidative stress was. So it wasn't until 2005 when this ABC investigative report, now he kind of came in, it's a bit like a current affair. He came in to try and discredit what the company was saying, that they had potentially got, you know, the fountain of youth. So he came in, John Keone, got his bloods done on camera, and it was actually proven that his oxidative stress, which we're going to talk about, was reduced by over 45% in just 2 weeks. So $5 million in orders came in. The company couldn't cope. They didn't even have that much stock. But one thing that did happen that night was some professors in universities heard about this new way, this activation, this nutrigenomics, and they said, okay, we want to look at this new approach, and we want to look at self-funding, if you'll allow us, some of to do our own research. So that went on. But in 2009, the company had still gone a bit of online, still was doing retail, but what they worked out was behind every blue bottle, there needed to be a story shared. And that's when it went down the direct sales route. And that's when the company really grew from 11 million to over 200 million. So we began using activation. And I'm going to address a few theories on aging, because we all want cellular health. We all want to try and live our life the best that we can. And I often say to people, you know, this isn't about, you know, treating, curing, mitigating, anything about that. But 3 of the survival genes that we do switch on is the anti-fibrosis, the anti-aging, and the anti-inflammatory. Very important genes, which can give your body the best protection against something that might happen to you. So for me, I do it a lot for just prevention. So what is oxidative stress? Well, if you take an apple and put it on the side and cut it in half and leave it there for maybe an hour or 2, it will go all brown and yucky. That is oxidation. Well, this happens to our cells all day because of free radical damage that's attacking our cells. And it's literally from the air that we breathe. So we are rusting from the inside out. And that is how our bodies slow down, and it's not working to the way it used. And this oxidative stress is something you do not want high levels of. You can see here all the different parts of your body that it impacts: heart, skin, kidneys, joints, lungs, literally every part of your body, even the eyes. I heard an amazing testimony the other day about eyes. And you know what? I've seen incredible testimonies over the last couple of days with animals, dogs, horses. We have so many animals on Protandem, and it really, really helps them. So what would our body normally do? Well, it would make enough antioxidants. But what happens when we're about 22 years of age for women and 24 years of age for men? There is a little protein in our cells called the NRF2 protein. And this just turns off, flick off switch. And that's when we actually start to age. So that is what's happening here. Our products, our antioxidants, slow down as we age. So what causes the aging? And what causes oxidative stress? Diet, smoking is so bad, medication, breathing, alcohol, toxins, pesticides. You think of pesticides and things like that. We didn't have Wi-Fi, none of these things 100 years ago. Rigorous exercise or even no exercise causes a lot of oxidative stress as well. So what have LifeVantage done? They brought out Protandem. So what does Protandem do? Well, it turns on that protein that I was talking about, the NRF2. It turns it on. So if you can imagine, it just literally sends a message, rings a doorbell and says, guys, we're back in work again. That's it. That's how amazing our bodies are, that we can flip a switch on in every single cell. So many times people say, so is it a supplement? I'm like, absolutely not. This is the next generation of wellness. This is activation. This is turning on the body's ability to start healing itself. So what's it made up of? Milk thistle, great liver cleanser. Bacopa, really good for brain fog. If you walk around sometimes and you just think you've got a cloud in your head, that's what Bacopa is good for. Ashwagandha, that's a really good, just a well-being kind of product that makes you feel good all over. Green tea, which is a great metabolizer, and turmeric, which is an anti-inflammatory. So what's it proven to do? Lower oxidative stress, which is what we want to do. Increase glutathione. I encourage you, go even to Google and put in low levels of glutathione and see what it says. High levels of oxidative stress, and see the harmful things that can happen to you. It supports the body's repair. So now the body is getting back into action and trying to get rid of some of this rust so that we can work better. So it's detoxifying. But what it does is it produces enzymes capable of neutralizing millions of free radicals. So how does it do this? And how would it do this? Because so many times people say, but gee, I eat really healthy. But when you take one direct antioxidant, which is like a blueberry or something like that, that kills one free radical. Well, at any one time, we can have 6 trillion free radicals, as opposed to Protandim turns on that switch in every cell. So now we are creating millions of antioxidants per second that are able to kill off the free radicals. You would never be able to eat the amount of food that you would have to eat every day. You can see here in the pictures, as opposed to the graph showing oxidative stress going up and then your age at the bottom. Well, as you can see, remember I said around the age of 22 that you actually start aging. You can see here in the graph that if you don't take Protandim, such huge amounts of oxidative stress as we age. But you take Protandim, and if you watch that ABC investigative report, listen out for Dr. Joe McCord when he says that you would not be able to tell the difference between an 80-year-old's blood and a 20-year-old's blood. And why is that? It's because of the synergy. Now, the synergy means, because so many times people say, gee, I've got green tea, I've got turmeric, I've got, I can go and buy a bit of ashwagandha and I'll make my own Protandim. Well, our products are patented because it was the exact formula, and it's just tiny amounts of these ingredients that changes the formation of the product's ingredients into becoming an NRF2 synergizer. So synergistically, they become so powerful that they're 18 times more effective on that NRF2 pathway than if you were to take these products on their own. So here's some peer-reviewed studies, and I want to highlight one to you. I hadn't heard the full story about this. I'd always thought it was a 10-year study. I actually found out that the National Institute of Aging in America did a 20-year-old study. So we'd been part of a 10-year, where they had heard all these companies saying, we've got the secret potion to anti-aging, we've got the secret youth. So they said, bring everything, bring your natural as well as your, hardcore drugs, and let's check them out. And over 20 years, they did a study with natural and everything. And the only natural product that was proven, as well as 3 over-the-counter drugs, which were like for diabetes and pretty full-on drugs that were shown to slow down aging, Protandim was the only natural product that was proven to increase the lifespan of male mice by 7%. Who wouldn't want an extra 7% on your life? And that's because of this NRF2 activation. It is potentially the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. That is a big call. When you think of stem cell and you think of penicillin and all these other discoveries that were made, that's pretty big. The other thing, mitochondrial. This is the power in your cells. You want to have as much mitochondrial and that they're working and that they're healthy as possible, because if you don't have mitochondria, which is ATP, you just die. You don't have energy, you just die. So to give you an example, there can be over 4,000 mitochondria in any one cell in your brain or in your heart at any one time. So again, as you age, this slows down. So what has LifeVantage done? They switch on. Again, our bodies are amazing. So again, it sends another message to the NRF1 protein and says switch on, which increases the cellular repair. So what are the ingredients? Acetylcarnitine and quercetin. These would be something that people that are really into performance and physical activity and athletics and that would be told to take. Grape skin, really good resveratrol and a really good antioxidant. Alpha-lipoic and CoQ enzyme, really good for the heart. So again, it improves sleep quality, cellular repair, and the brain and heart health, which is what we all want, to slow down aging. So together, they're the dual synergizer. And the analogy I kind of give to this is if you have an old car, it's all rusty, bit banjaxed, and that's what the NRF2 synergizer does. It cleans the bodywork, gets the car all working right again, and then the NRF1 puts a new engine back in. So the other products, I'm going to very briefly touch on the ProBio, which I love. The True Science skincare and hair care. Again, this NRF2 pathway, we're switching that on, but this time on our skin. So it's the outside in that we're switching on and the inside out. And I had an aesthetics nurse that was on this morning from Ireland who had Protandim shipped over when it wasn't even in the country, because she knew the power of anti-aging from the inside out. And she knew there was nothing else in Ireland that could do the cellular repair like Protandim did. So she would have it shipped in until it came to Ireland. And then the last thing she wanted to do was be a consultant, but she said, I've got to get it out there. She adores our skincare as well. It's all natural, no nasties, the same with the hair care. The hair care activates the follicle on your scalp. So now your scalp is working properly. So then your hair, the growth, the texture, the fullness of it starts to work as well. Again, no nasties in it. So it's toxic free. So the Protandim, what makes it so different? Well, with Protandim, it's got this slow releasing. So it takes 52 minutes to actually go into your small intestines. That's where we want it to do. It's a VR vegan cap, and it takes 52 minutes. So once it's in the small intestines, it can start healing. So what is it called? The Activated Essentials, the three of them together. Now, this is what I take. For a long time, since my early 20s, I had all sorts of issues with my gut. I would go to natural therapists and I would get help with my stomach all the time. I never had a great working stomach. 5 months on Protandim and I had never been so well ever. Wow. I introduced the ProBio. It's taken my health to a whole other level. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes now showing you a little bit about the business. Now, if this is something you're not really interested in, that's okay, and I won't be offended if you need to leave. We want to thank you for coming on, but I encourage you to stay, because there may be somebody, if it's not for you, there may be somebody that you would maybe think that they might be able to do this and join us, because we're such passionate people about health and wellness. But I'm also passionate about helping people, especially after what's happened with the crisis that we're all in at the moment. So many people have had to work, or they've lost their jobs, or they've had to really take on extra work or extra debt. And I want to see people, as many people, set free as possible from financial ruin. So what I love about this is one of my oldest distributors is I think is 74 years of age. I met my youngest distributor the other day. She's 18 and she's in the horsing industry. And I said, how come you got in so early? She said, I want to travel. I want to be able to work and travel the world and have my own business. And I said, what if it took you 10 years to be maybe earning $15,000? Where else could a 28-year-old be able to do that without having a noose around their neck of such a huge mortgage or a huge loan? I love this, that it is a playing field. I can have a CEO of an IT company in my team. I can have a stay-at-home mom. I can have an executive. I have a neuroscientist who's written 200 papers just join our business because she's been on the products for 18 months and said, I need to get this out to as many people as possible. That's the type of people that we attract, as well as our 18-year-olds. So what is it? It's a virtual office, minimum business assets, no inventory. Everything comes from Narangba, our depot in Brisbane, and it gets sent. And all you have is a personal online store, a bit like this, where you would help somebody to actually order from your store. You don't take the money, it's all done online, and you make a small bit of commission each time, and it starts to grow and add up. So why LifeVantage and why now? Well, most of Europe, Ireland, Australia has yet to discover this. 60% of there's been an increase in the wellness industry, and this is set to become a $1 trillion industry by 2026. Over 220,000 studies have been published in PubMed. I encourage you to go there, www.pubmed.gov, and see. So what I love about LifeVantage, there's a few things. One, that it's on the NASDAQ, so everything has to be audited. You often see things and people claiming this and that. What I love is that this, you can go on Google and put in income disclosure statement of LifeVantage, and these figures will come up. What I also love is that the median people, so somebody earning from 600 to like 6,000, that is where they pay out the most money, because $600 cancels a lot of bills that you might have coming in that month as you're earning and learning and growing. 3,000, hey, you're now starting to pay off, car loans, maybe some of your mortgage, and then it goes up. It's unlimited, the earnings potential that we can actually earn. And you might be thinking, can I do this? Well, one thing I would say about this company, having been with them for over 4 years, is that they are such a credible company. They're a 20-year-old company that are on the stock exchange. They closed off the NASDAQ bell on the 9th of January. We had Julia Roberts played her in the movies. We've had her join our board of directors. We have a product that's got really high retention, and it's affordable and it's consumable. These are all things that you should look for if you were looking at another company. But can I do this? I would say yes, if you come alongside us and help you to launch, to learn, and then we help you lead. We hold regular team meetings, whether they're on Zooms or whether they're in person, which we will do eventually again. But the internet is a powerful thing. I'm on the Sunshine Coast. We have people all over Australia on here this evening. We hold regular corporate events, and we have incentives to keep everyone motivated. And we have a really incredible, supportive community that wants to see you succeed. And we want to encourage you and help you all the way. So you may be one of 3 people. You may need more information, and that's absolutely fine. You might think, you know what, I'd like to become a customer. I've never heard of this nutrigenomics. I'm really into my health and fitness. I want to try these out. And again, I would really encourage you to do that. But remember, Protandim is a month for every decade you've been on Earth. Because it is natural, it has to go in and clean out every cell. So we say, don't try it for a month unless you're 10 years of age. Give it the proper go that it needs to have to really create magic in your bodies. Or you might think, you know what, I'd like to educate people. I'd like to go, I love helping people. I'd love to share this, and we'd love to help you and maybe, hold another meeting with you to discuss this further. So I'd love to find out is if anybody has got any questions at the moment that you might have for one of us. Just, unmute if you've got any questions at all that you'd like answered. No. I'm actually going to put this lady a little bit on the spot. She doesn't know that I'm going to do this. She'll probably go, oh my gosh. Rose, could you unmute?
Hello.
Is one of the most phenomenal educators out there when it comes to brain health. And she is so passionate about people's health and the illnesses that are out there. And she works a lot with people with dementia and tries to educate people on dementia and prevention of dementia and what you can actually do. You can take back the power here. So I'd love, Rose, for you maybe to say, why you got involved with LifeVantage. What excited you about this company and these products? And because I really I think you're amazing.
Oh, thank you. I've worked in this for many, many years, and I've just got sick and tired of looking at sick people, basically, and thinking there has to be a different way, there has to be something else. So I started looking into prevention, and I realized that there's so many things out there. You know, Dr. Google is really good about saying, you know, try this and try that and try something else, but it doesn't line up with how the brain works. And so the thing that I really loved about the looking at Protandim in the first place was it's backed by science. And I read the science and I understood the science, and I was able to go to, you know, other professionals and go, hey, the science behind this is amazing, you know, because, you know, dementia, you know, this huge thing of dementia is, I think there's about 160 failed drug trials in the last 10 years. There's not going to be a cure. They can't cure this, but it can be prevented. There's so much that we can do. And to me, LifeVantage, the Protandim, is something that we can use to go, hey, and I know we don't cure or you know, that stuff, but it's like, dementia is just another inflammation. It's just another oxidative stress that's happening in the brain as what it is in the body. So therefore, if we're, you know, reducing that, we reduce the opportunity for that dementia to actually, you know, happen. And to me, I find that absolutely exciting beyond belief. And I want to tell everybody that this is just, you know, such a fantastic thing. So yeah.
Thank you. That's amazing, Rose. And I love your passion. And I love, you know, as I say this week, a neuroscientist that has come on, a professor at Monash University, you know, the most non-direct salesperson that could come on, but she has taken the products for nearly 2 years, has written 200 PubMed papers herself that have been published. And she just said, I want the world to know about this now, because we need to start taking back control of our body. And we call this biohacking. It's taking back control of your biology and doing your own research and doing your own. So that's us. We're on a mission to try and help as many people as possible. Go out there and research before just taking the first thing that you get offered. Go and do your research. Look up oxidative stress in PubMed and dementia, oxidative stress and diabetes, oxidative stress, and see, is there a relationship between the two?
Yeah.
And make up your own mind. But all I know is I've been on these products for 4 years, and, you know, my husband and me, it's probably the healthiest that we have ever been in our lives. So is there any other questions before we go? It's 34 minutes, so I think we're going good for time. If anyone's got any other questions at all.
Gee, with Rose's talking about dementia, if you've got early dementia onset, would Protandim help?
I would definitely take it. This lady, she's written this book, Silent Takeover, Jackie Shepherd, How the Body Hijacks the Mind, Overcoming Emotional, Mental and Addictive Disorders. She had early onset dementia and she took Protandim.
Oh, great.
Yes. So
thank you.
I always say to everyone, why wouldn't you? It's natural. Yeah. Why wouldn't you give it a go? We can't treat, cure, mitigate anything, but why wouldn't you? If it's going to help you, why wouldn't you give it a go?
Thank you.
And I would just add to that, you know, it's like, why wouldn't you? If someone gives you a diagnosis of something like that, why wouldn't you? Because, you know, there isn't anything else that's going to hurt that. So, you know, so I would try.
Because I've come across a lady whose husband has got early onset of dementia, and I was talking to her about Protandim. She said, I'll try anything. So I've just got to run around. And she comes from America originally, so but she's really concerned about her husband.
Well, I'm happy to speak to her, and I can talk to her about Jackie Shepherd. I've met Jackie many times, who's written the book. So yeah, for sure.
Okay. Thank you.
That's okay. Anyone else before we jump off? I'm so thankful that you've all stayed on and given up your time. It's been amazing. Well done, Tracey. And thank you for coming on and hearing us.
so much. I really appreciate your time.